All right, so this is going to be the 12th section of the precious treasury of the basic space of phenomenon by Longchenpa. May all beings benefit from this reading. All phenomenon are timelessly free in awakened mind, and so there is no phenomenon that is not free. Samsara is timelessly free, free in primordial purity. Nirvana is timelessly free, free in spontaneous perfection. Sensory appearances are timelessly free, free in having no basis or foundation. Conditioned existence is timelessly free, free in the heart essence of enlightenment. Elaboration is timelessly free, free in the absence of limiting alternatives. No elaboration is timelessly free, free in unborn purity. Pleasure is timelessly free, free in the evenness that is the true nature of phenomenon. Pain is timelessly free, free in the uniform spaciousness of the ground of being. Neutral sensations are timelessly free, free in Dharmakaya, equal to space. Purity is timelessly free, free in the emptiness of underlying purity. Impurity is timelessly free, free in the supreme state of total freedom. Levels of realization and spiritual paths are timelessly free, free in transcending the stages of development and completion. View and meditation are timelessly free, free in the absence of renunciation and of acceptance. Conduct is timelessly free, free in the wholly positive state. Fruition is timelessly free, free in the absence of hope and fear. Samaya is timelessly free, free in the supreme nature of phenomenon. Recitation and mantra repetition are timelessly free, free in transcending verbal expression. Meditative absorption is timelessly free, free in transcending the realm of thought. Existence and non existence are timelessly free, for freedom lies in the transcendence of extremes. Affirmation and denial are timelessly free, for freedom lies in the lack of any basis or foundation. What is authentic is timelessly free, for freedom lies in the transcendence of conceptual frameworks. What is not authentic is timelessly free, for freedom lies in the transcendence of conceptual bias. Karma is timelessly free, for freedom lies in the absence of any sullying factors. Afflictive emotions are timelessly free, for freedom lies in the absence of either bondage or freedom. Habitual patterns are timelessly free, for freedom lies in the lack of any basis for supporting them. The consequences of actions are timelessly free, for freedom lies in the lack of any basis for experiencing them. Antidotes are timelessly free, free in the absence of anything to abandon. There is neither renunciation nor acceptance, but freedom and expansiveness equal to space itself. Freedom is timelessly free, free in the absence of bondage. The lack of freedom is timelessly free, free in the absence of both bondage and freedom. Relaxation is timelessly free, free in the absence of anything to be relaxed. The state of resting imperturbably is timelessly free, free in the absence of anything to be brought to rest. In brief, all phenomena that are appearances or possibilities, as well as what is neither an appearance nor a possibility, and is beyond ordinary phenomenon, all these are already timelessly free in basic space. So there is no need now for anyone to make an effort to free them anew. Even though you might make an effort to do this, it would be pointless. So do not strive or try to achieve. Don't not look at the concepts in your mind. Don't meditate. Do not meditate. Excuse me, I screwed that up. Don't look. Do not look at the concepts in your mind. Don't meditate. Do not meditate on the phenomenon of your ordinary consciousness. Don't analyze. Do not analyze sense objects in ordinary mind. Don't try to achieve. Do not try to achieve results one out of hope and fear. Don't reject. Do not reject afflictive emotions and karma. Don't accept. Do not accept anything as true. Don't bind. Do not bind your mind stream. These all had explanation marks, so I tried to explain. Since everything reverts to a state of evenness with no object whatsoever existing, there is no orderly process, there are no phenomenon, there is no identifiable frame of reference. The ground collapses, the path collapses, and any sense of fruition collapses, so you cannot conceive in the slightest of good or bad, loss or injury. Your experience of evenness is decisive, timelessly so, and so you feel certainty about the universe of appearances and possibilities. The division between samsara and nirvana collapses. Not even basic space exists innately. There's no reference point. No, how is it? What is it? It is this. What can you do? What can any of you do? Where's the I? What can anyone do about what was so before, but now is not? Ha ha! I burst out laughing at such great marvel at this. Ha 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 ha. So I'm trying to be a good narrator here, follow what the text is saying. Since the perspective of confusion, the universe of appearances and possibilities collapses, day and night are timelessly pristine, naturally pristine, pristine in space. Days and dates are pristine, months, years, and eons are pristine. One thing is pristine, everything is pristine. The spiritual and the non spiritual are pristine. Samsara, nirvana, and the ground of confusion are pristine in primordial basic space. The term basic space, a product of conventional mind, is pristine. However you strive, whatever effort you make, what now will be of value? The entanglements of the desiring mind resolve, the supreme marvel of space. The nature of this irreligious beggar resolved into such a state. Wow, glad I'm not the only Dzogchen beggar. The fortress of the foundation, of jewels, and of surrounding space are spontaneously present within enlightened intent, which is timelessly free in that it has no underlying basis. So the universe of the three states of conditioned existence is free within the supreme state in which no sense objects exist. Those who bind themselves by holding to biases where none exist do not understand the nature of being. They themselves corrupt themselves. They themselves delude themselves. They are confused, so confused. They are confused by their perception of an abyss where no confusion exists. Whether or not there's confusion, there's the expanse of awakened mind. There's never any confusion or freedom in awakened mind. You are bound by reifying what arises from it as a display. In actuality, there is neither bondage nor freedom. Neither sense objects nor ordinary mind exist. Do not be seduced into believing in the existence of what does not exist. Awareness is free and that it is timelessly awakened Buddhahood. That's right. Buddhahood. Did you say Buddhahood, Jody? Buddhahood, Yodi.
Boo!
Buddhahood. Say it. Say Buddhahood. Well, this is an important statement. Uh, Awareness is free in that it is timelessly awakened Buddhahood. In one sentence, it's telling you awareness is Buddhahood. This is your Buddha mind. This is the pure cognizance. There are many lines like that. People want to try to say that this is some provisional thing, that there's a small awareness and a big awareness and all this stuff. No. When you had that little aha moment, the moment you became sort of like, oh yeah, you sort of saw it, you saw your Buddha mind. Do not confine it within the trap of the ordinary mind of reifying fixation. The completely pure expanse in which objects never exist is the expanse of awakened mind, the supremely blissful ground, equal to space. Samsara is not possible within that context, which abides primordially and innately. Given that the unique sphere of being is without edges or corners, to hold that things are the same or different is the confusion of ordinary mind. Given that naturally occurring timeless awareness has neither cause nor condition, perceiving it to be involved in the samsaric process is a hindrance to enlightenment. Given that unbiased, spontaneous presence is free of limitation, fixation on the limitations of biased views in the Mara that creates complacency. Oh, let me read that sentence again. Given that unbiased, spontaneous presence is free of limitation, fixation on the limitations of biased views is the Mara that creates complacency. Given that unceasing emptiness has neither substance nor characteristics, labeling things as existent, non existent, manifest, or empty is the perversity of ordinary consciousness. Therefore, cast off the trap of whatever biases you hold and understand that unbiased, spontaneous presence is like space. Yodi really likes this section. Hi, Yodi. Yodi, go sit. Yodi, go sit. Go sit. Stop harassing me. Regardless of what arises to the six avenues of consciousness, appearances seen, sounds heard, everything is naturally clear, an expanse with no division or exclusion. Come to this decisive experience within the timelessly free expanse of equalness. Awareness is basic space, because whatever manifests occurs within a single state of equalness. It is the ground of being, because it gives rise to all enlightened qualities. It is the expanse of being, because everything occurs naturally without division or exclusion. It is awakened mind, because it is experienced as the heart essence that is the source of everything. You should understand it to be like space, primordially pure. In the spacious expanse of the ground of being, naturally occurring timeless awareness is refined because it is timelessly immaculate, unsullied by samsara. It is consummate because enlightened qualities are spontaneously present beyond cause and effect. It is mind because self-knowing awareness is the utterly lucid heart essence. Everything is subsumed and completely pure within awakened mind. Within the very essence of what arises as a display due to dynamic energy, a reawakening to Buddhahood in the moment comes with realization. See, that's what essentially when you get pointing out instructions and you sort of recognize your own awareness, That's the reawakening because and that's why the aha moment isn't anything substantial. People don't understand this and they like to really try to glorify your recognition of awareness. It shouldn't be a great fireworks show because uh you've seen it before. You're resting in it day in and day out. You're always in it. And then particularly they say in the bardos you have a visceral sort of full experience there of it. So yeah, you're just sort of, it's a mnemonic. You're re-seeing. Yeah. But I would say also coming to a point where you acknowledge, maybe you've done that before, people here in the Dzogchen group, who knows what the great practitioners, everybody here, but some people are sort of seeing it again. Maybe they saw it in a past life and now they're seeing it again. Some people seeing it for some beings for the first time. But I think it doesn't really work in a linear way, so I'm just totally, you know, speaking sort of lies. But we can look at it like that conventionally. But even a dog that sees an awareness holder is going to be reminded. And then maybe in the next life, that dog, if it's not already a Buddha somehow, then maybe in the next life, it's like because it saw awareness as a dog. Well, is it really recognizing it for the first time? Not really, right? So, really cool line right there. In the absence of realization, thought patterns based on the confusion of non recognition arise. The eight avenues of consciousness that develop from the ground of all ordinary experience, as well as their objects. And of course, those are the ayatanas, and then also the eight consciousnesses. There, you have the six, the five that they usually use, and the sixth is your thinking and emotional sort of that consciousness, the manos vijnan, and then there's an egoic consciousness that holds the six senses, which is the manas vijnan, that egoic consciousness that really in our culture, they really try tap into that. It's sort of in the so-called subconscious, but in Dzogchen, we don't want that to be sub anything. We want everything to be right here in the open, and there are no hidden chambers of our consciousness, hopefully. And if there are, we illuminate them, so to speak. But so this ego consciousness then is seeded by a storehouse consciousness that, just like a garden, you seed that. You plant momentum there, karmic momentum that comes from the sort of dimension that you can't see of your mind, and then it circles back up to reify the ego, to reify reality, to reify your desires and patterns. Everything is pattern. That gives us practitioners a great heads up, because that means we can start to see things and have sort of control and freedom. The pattern aspect is great. There's nothing really that's not cyclic, if you look at it, and that's a great advantage for us. Just like a song or a movie that we see too many times, when we look at these cycles enough, they will self-liberate. That's the power of zooming out. Yeah. So I'm going to continue here. Those are the eight consciousnesses. Yeah. I just want to. This is the Twilight language. Let me plug my phone in. The Twilight language. That's why it's called Twilight language. This is the ninth yana, so you have all this previous yana stuff here. Yeah, and it's coded. They say the three this, the four this, the eight this, and next thing you know, let me use this from my phone. Next thing you don't know what the heck the text is talking about because you've never even studied this stuff, and so it's completely encoded in that way. But that's why ideally a lama will explain that. Okay, so nothing that arises as the display, the entire universe of appearances and possibilities, strays from the expanse of awakened mind. If you abide in a state of equalness, without straying from the expanse of mind, you fully embrace samsara and nirvana, free in the spacious expanse of enlightened intent. The naturally settled state, samsara and nirvana, cannot possibly exist within that fundamentally unconditioned state. The naturally settled state, positive and negative, acceptance and rejection, cannot possibly exist. The naturally settled state, dualistic perceptions involving renunciation or attainment, cannot possibly exist. The naturally settled state, the five emotional poisons, cannot possibly exist. The naturally settled state, restrictions and extremes, cannot possibly exist. The naturally settled state, dynamic energy and the arising of things, cannot possibly exist. The naturally settled state, there is nothing to prevent it from being labeled, however inadequately. Within naturally occurring timeless awareness, a state beyond labels in which phenomena resolve, whatever arises as its dynamic energy and display is in fact without bias, the way of abiding, in which there is neither bondage nor freedom, is the naturally settled state. What is symbolically labeled freedom is simply a state in which things vanish naturally, leaving no trace. And since there is no contradiction in labeling it as anything or nothing, we describe it with the words timelessly free. See, there again, it's important to understand giving very little weight to words. Like basically talking about what we see when we talk about awareness. It's most important what we're seeing and how we come into that deeper and deeper. It's a whole new world. It's a cognizance beyond the limitation. We have a spectrum of vocabulary too, right? Even if we took all the words and all the concepts and all the ideas that we have right now, it'd be in a spectrum. And I imagine we add words and concepts and da da da, but it's still not wide enough, really. You know, just 100 years ago, if you tried to describe a computer, you wouldn't even have the words. So just like that, we don't need the words because there's this cognizance of yours that can see it. It doesn't need the words. You know? So this is just talking about how it's just symbolically labeled. You know, like a name tag you put on a person, but that in no way it touches on who that person is. It's just a name tag. So we have to really look behind this word awareness and see we put the name tag on something here. Yeah. There is no division or exclusion. There is freedom in the expanse of spontaneous presence. There is no union or separation. There is freedom in the expanse of the sphere of being. Anything at all arises. There is freedom in the expanse in which everything is indeterminate. Forms manifest. Sensory appearances are free in their own place. Sounds are audible. What is audible is free in its own place. Odors are sensed. Sensations are free in basic space. Flavors are tasted and tactile sensations are felt. They are free in the context of their own place. Consciousness and mental events are free without basis, foundation, or support. There is freedom in oneness, freedom in the expanse that is the true nature of phenomenon. There is no duality, freedom in the equalness of sense objects and mind. There is naturally occurring freedom, freedom in the expanse of timeless awareness. There is spontaneously present freedom, freedom in the purity of the ground of being as basic space. Now, remember, we can touch timelessness. When we come into this cognizance, this awareness, it's there through time. If I move my hand like this, well, awareness doesn't change. And if you're dreaming and the dream character does this, well, the cognizance itself is still the same cognizance, unchanged. You see, so just like space, I move my hand through space and space sort of holds holds that from point A to point B, right? There's really no time there. Awareness isn't subject to time. It's a big, they call it the fourth time sometimes. And it rhymes sometimes. Okay. There's freedom as utter lucidity. Okay. We also talked about lucidity 12 hours ago in that session, and we really got, I feel like everybody got to access that. When you go to sleep and your dream starts, there's a lucid mind creating that. You don't have a very structured thought where you're like, I'm going to dream a forest. No, where is that forest coming from? It's coming from a lucid, more subtle mind. And you can actually come into this mind. That's how you manifest and do all this crap. That's the real pilot, if you ask me. Your thinking mind does it. If you can get your thinking mind to work with it, then great. If there's a natural synchronicity and a flow there for you already, then that's awesome. But most people, their thinking mind, their body, their heart, and their subtle mind are completely disoriented. They're not in synchronicity, so to speak. The magical forest. I need food. No, I'm just kidding. It's got to be a rabbit around here. Just kidding. We don't hurt the rabbits. But they might bring us to some berries. So, the, this is the idea, really. We got to keep lucidity in mind, and that's why dream yoga is important. Stop trusting your thinking mind so much. Entertain the fact that there's a cognizance available to you that's actually more powerful than your thinking mind, and that can actually inform your thinking mind. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And so, like little babies, we encapsulate ourselves into the thinking mind, and at some point, we bust out of that. And thankfully, we have yogis singing about it. So there is freedom as utter lucidity, freedom within the expanse of the sun and moon. There is freedom as the true nature of phenomenon, freedom within the expanse of space. There is freedom of objects in the phenomenal world, freedom within the expanse of the ocean. There's unchanging freedom, freedom within the expanse of the most majestic mountain. By the way, I'm pretty sure that's a reference to Mount Kailash in Tibet. There is primordial freedom, freedom in the unborn expanse. There is freedom in the single state of evenness, freedom in the expanse of timeless awakening. There is total freedom, freedom in the timelessly unfolding expanse. This is the 12th section of the precious treasury of the basic space of phenomena, demonstrating that all phenomena are by nature timelessly free and awakened mind. Now, see why any true activist really should be doing some kind of mind freedom like this. Look how many times the word freedom was mentioned there. Uh, if you really, really want freedom, it starts with our minds.